Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you are new here. Today I'm going to show you how to improve your block builds, your square builds, whatever you want to call them, just to improve them slightly. There's a few little tricks in here, nothing major, and they're pretty simple. So I have many people on my channel saying they have had The Sims for years and years but still just build boxes. So I'm going to show you how to improve them just a little bit, and they're pretty simple things you can do just to improve things slightly. So I'm starting off with this rectangular shaped here. Technically the door is supposed to be on the front here, but because of lighting I am putting it on this side, so that is why we are here instead of on the other side. First thing I would do to this build is add another block onto this. So I'm going to use the room tool and I'm going to put something on the side here. The thing I would always recommend is don't do something on the edge here, because you're just going to create another flat edge. You can do that when you're doing certain things, but for what I'm trying to do, I'm not going to do that. So let's just say, let's build a 3x3 room, just added on the edge here. I'm going to do a 4x3 room. Yes, because I don't want it to look even. I like it when one side, like this side's got 2 grid and this one is a 3 grid. It just makes things look a little bit more interesting. I'm also going to add a front porch, and I don't want to do it central again. I like things that aren't central, but it depends on the style of build you're going for. Some builds obviously want to be symmetrical. So I'm just going to pop I'm going to do 3x2. Yeah, 3x2. I don't like really skinny like porches like this. Really good for bay windows. If you want to add some shape using a bay window, you could do this. But for a porch area, I like it a little bit larger. And I'm using a fairly big door, so I'm going to go for this shape. And again, like I said, I wouldn't do it up to the edge of the wall. Leave at least 1 grid square in. So now we have this shape. A lot of people might struggle with roofing. This is pretty simple because I've only added 2 shapes on the edge. So my favourite roofs to use are the gabled roof and the hipped roof. So what I'm going to do is first go in with the gabled roof. And I'm going to place this on the largest portion of the build. So that is this square here. So we're just going to go edge to edge on just that square and leave these bare for now. This is way too tall because it is more than a 1 wall height up here. So unless you're doing a loft room, you don't really want this. So I'm going to bring it down slightly, maybe to about this height-ish. Because it is a smaller build, I'm only doing it small walls. You don't want this too tall. And you can have a taller roof. I feel like if you have a 2-story home, the taller roof goes better because of the wall to roof height ratio. I am going to show you a 2-story as well by changing this up just slightly, so I will come back to that soon. So for this front edge, I want to still use a gabled roof. You could go in with a hip roof, that would be fine, but I want to use a gabled one. So what we're going to do for this is match the angle. So just bring it down till it matches the same angle as this. It just looks a little bit better. Now for this side one, just to change it up, because you can have different roofs on a house, I'm going to use a hipped roof. Or you can use a half hipped roof in this case, because you're not going to see that back half of it. So you would just place it on wall to wall and then just drag it into this roof until you don't see this point. I'm going to have it slightly lower than this roof, so the point will disappear into there. And with hip roofs, the eaves aren't pulled out, so it doesn't match. So I'm going to pull the eaves out slightly. And then one last thing I like to do, because you can see these are at 2 different heights currently. I'm first going to put on a roof trim, and I'm going to use this one because I really like it. Once the roof's trim on, we can level these so they match, because I hate it when they're at 2 different heights. So I would just pull that in, and you can see it will now perfectly line up to that, and it just makes things look a little bit tidier. I'm going to pin my house. I'm going to do it this brick. I'm going to do it like a British house that has been renovated to be more modern. So currently this looks very flat at the moment, even though we do have shapes coming out, and that is because we're using all the same pattern. To change that up, I like to use a different pattern on the little extra bits that we've created here. So for this one, I'm going to go in with the boldly brushed and do it like this, and it's like it has been rendered. I think it's rendered, and it's like it has been added after the main house was built because it has been renovated. Also just gonna paint the roof. Then I'm going to show you a 2-story and also another way to change up the shape. So I'm just gonna get rid of that for now. I can bring this into there because I'm gonna just copy this room on top. You can do 2 different sizes of room on top, but if you're used to doing like these blocky shapes, I'm just showing you how to make it look a little bit more interesting. So we've still got the basic block shape here, But what I'm going to do is along the back side, I'm going to build another room. Let's say maybe this size, and I have done this one flat to the wall, and I'm going to show you how to make the back look a little bit more interesting soon. So we could leave it like this and maybe make this into a balcony, but I just think this is way too big for a balcony, so I do just want to make another room exactly the same size on top, like so. So already we've got a little bit more of an interesting shape. It's not just a square built on there. And again, roofing this is really easy. We're going to go in with the gabled roof again. And like I said, you can have this a little bit taller because you've got the balance of the lower down 2 floors. And what I'm going to do for this is I want the brick on the bottom and I'm going to have the render on the top. You could have it the other way. And it looks really odd at the minute because it just stops and goes into this. So what I like to do is add a frieze or exterior trim. And because like I said, I'm doing this like an older house that has been modernized, I'm going to go with this black trim, I think. We do have an issue here. It is around the back and it is this roof here. This can be super annoying. There is a way to fix this. It's not exactly perfect, but it's better than it looks here. So let me just add my trims so I can see. For this roof that is sticking out here, I'm going to go ahead and drag this in till it is about here. Now with this, I'm going to copy this and place it next to it. Don't worry if you haven't placed it in the right place, just drag it back to the correct place. And then we're going to bring the eaves in on this one. So currently there's a little bit of a gap here, so what you have to do is you can bring an eave across. So there is a slight overlap, but it's so much better than it originally looked. So I'm going to add a foundation to my build. If you don't know how to do it, just click on your house and this big arrow here, you just drag it up and it will add a foundation. And then you can go ahead and paint those. Now we're going to create a deck area, which again is going to add a little bit more shape to the build. So I'm going to add one to the front porch so we can get up there. We will have to add some stairs. And then I'm also, to create some shape around the back, like I said, we've got just a flat wall here, so we need to make that look a little bit more interesting, is I'm going to add a flat square here as well. And I'm going to do this on this back corner. Something like this. And just painting it. And we'd have like a little back door here and then going down to the garden. And it's just adding again a little bit more shape because it's coming out here, even though it is just a deck. Now another thing I like to do is a lot of times when I've got like a little room like this is make it fully windowed. Again, it just adds some different textures to the house. So we have a fully glass room, then we've got the rendered section and then the brick section. And it just really brings everything together. And I'm using my favourite windows from Eco Lifestyle. There is a base game version of these, but the frame isn't as thin, so I don't like it as much. So I know this is a very stylized build and this might not be everyone's style, but you can always bring these sort of elements into the type of build you're doing. Do bear that in mind. The next thing I would do is go in with windows. Sometimes if I know where the kitchen's going to go, I don't add windows where the kitchen is, and I'll make the kitchen and then come out and put the windows in afterwards. But just for the purposes of showing you what I am doing, I'm just going to add some windows really quick. And I'm doing these windows on a corner just to make things look a little bit more interesting to usual builds. I've seen this done on modern builds where they have like windows on the corner like this, and I think they look absolutely stunning. So another trick I like to do is actually using one pack of windows. So I'm using the Snowy Escape ones here, and they sort of go with the Eco Lifestyle ones pretty well because they just have a black. But I'll mix it up and use a few different types of the windows from Snowy Escape, just to make things look a little bit interesting. Because I know my kitchen is going to be here. If I was going to build it, I'd use these smaller windows in the kitchen. So I've just put some windows down here. And the last thing I would do just to add some detail and to make things not look as flat would be to use some like little window boxes with flowers in. I'm a little bit limited since I've done quite a modern design, but I think there is one from Eco Lifestyle which will work. Yeah, I could go in and use this one and like put it on the front here. And again, it's just adding a tiny bit of colour and shape to it. So this is a fairly simple build I've done here, but I just want to help improve those that are maybe just starting out or are really struggling with building. So I hope this video helped. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, please subscribe, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.